Hi, welcome back to my Hidden Agenda, and today I am going to do another book review. So, when I decided about 2 years ago that I wanted to confront my gender issues and be totally honest with myself and learn more about my feelings, I started to look for more information, and since I like to read so much, I went to the library and started to look for more books about trans issues and experiences. And one of the first people I came across was Kate Bornstein and her landmark book, Gender Outlaw. Now, Kate Bornstein is a transgender rock star. Up until relatively recently, she was probably one of the most recognizable and well-known transsexuals, and I think she's an amazingly inspirational figure. I've actually been so impressed by her that I named my YouTube channel after her play, Hidden Agenda, which happens to be in this book. Now, this is a really fun book to read. It's part memoir, part manifesto, and Kate rambles through her transgender experience and how she's come to form her own particular worldview on what it means to transgress the strict gender rules that our culture deals us. Because the book is so informal, it functions really well as a gateway to all these other possibilities we have of experiencing and experiencing gender. She basically kicks open the window and guides you into a garden of expression and possibilities that most people don't even realize exists. Her personality is perfect for this, and she comes across as brazen, unapologetic, and clearly enjoying every bit of the life she's carved out for herself. Now, this is a really dramatic shift from most of the trans literature and voices out there, and definitely even more so for when it was published in 1994. So many people who talk about being transgender start from this presumptive place that they're coping with this fact that they don't feel they're conforming with the gender society has labeled them. And the transgender experience is all about changing your gender to better conform to these rules of engagement. So you end up with these stories that revolve around the pain of not fitting in, and all of the hoops that these people jump through in order to make themselves and everyone else more comfortable. This assumes the basic fact that gender variance is a problem to be solved, and Kate Bornstein is one of the first examples of someone I've found who says, hey, it doesn't need to be this way. Now, her basic premise in this book is that she has absolutely chosen to break some very strong societal norms, knowing that by expressing herself honestly and authentically, and changing her body and appearance accordingly, she's undermining people's expectations and challenging them to sit with some very uncomfortable emotions about who exactly she is, and ultimately about how they feel about themselves, too. She calls this being a gender outlaw, and she embraces the term and makes it a source of pride and power. In the process, she removes so much of the shame and self-hate that societal expectations practically shove down your throat when you do even the slightest thing to break gender rules. For example, like a man carrying a purse, or a femme woman riding a motorcycle. Today, we'd simply call this being genderqueer or gender fluid, but these are terms that did not exist in 1994. And to be honest, I was barely aware of them in 2015. So it's important to give Kate Bornstein a lot of credit, because the only reason that these possibilities for gender expression just even exist today is because she wrote this book, because she did her performance pieces, and she went on trashy TV talk shows showing the world militantly that she can change her gender and be totally proud and happy no matter what other people might think. Now, that was really the biggest thing that I got out of reading this book, even though it's still sometimes really difficult to imagine how that actually fits into how I want to live my life. But it's still just totally inspiring and very, very empowering. Now, on a personal level, there are definitely some real limits to how much I can identify with Kate Bornstein, as much as I at the same time admire her too. Now, we both grew up in traditional but liberal Jewish families and went on to be college-educated white people, probably a notch or two above what people consider middle class. but she is clearly a much different person than I am, and has just different interests and life priorities. For example, she's a performer and is much more outgoing and expressive than I am. She's been an actor and a salesperson, and both of those things that are pretty outside of my zone of comfort. And I definitely do not get the same affirmation that she does about putting herself on display. And I don't know that I could ever be quite as comfortable as she is with labeling herself a woman, not as labeling herself someone who is neither a man yet not quite a woman. So, even if gender outlaw is an example, even if gender outlaw isn't exactly like a template for how I want to live my life, there are still so many great lessons that Kate Bornstein teaches us, and there's just so many more of them that I'm going to keep talking about in my next video.